Hello, and so today we're going to talk about how to create a ToonDoo, which is a web application that allows you to create comics for whatever purpose you might want. And so here we are at the ToonDoo website, and the first thing you actually have to do is create an account. Now, I've already created an account, so I can just log in. Whatever ToonDoo you're going to create, you should have a story in mind. You should have some kind of dialogue, some kind of idea of what it's going to look like, what the actions are going to be. Although, of course, you don't need to have all those details worked out. You can play around with it once you get onto the website. And so we're going to start by clicking on the ToonDoo Maker over here. And it's going to bring up a new window. And what we're going to do is choose a layout. And although there's a lot of fun layouts that we can choose, I choose to just stick to the horizontal layouts. And so once the creator has loaded, I like to start by creating a background. And so we can click on the background tool here, and we can get some kind of general backgrounds here. So maybe we'll choose something like space. And then will actually get some specific options over here. So maybe we can choose something like this. And what you have to do is drag it into the screen. And once you choose your background, then you can choose characters to put in. And remember, we should have a story already in mind. And since this is outer space, maybe I'm going to talk about aliens. And so a whole list of different types of characters are available. And so it's nice to see what kind of options are here. So there's really a lot to play with. And so it's really important to explore and see what's available. All right, here we have some things that kind of look alien-like now. So we can have this character here and maybe this character. So maybe these guys are going to have some kind of discussion. And with these characters, we can add some text now. So I'm going to add some basic text here. And I'm going to say hello. And I'll add another text box. And this one might be saying, what's going on? Now, as you'll notice, I kind of just dragged things into the screen. And things aren't really fitting the way I want them actually. But now you can actually work around with some of these tools here on the bottom. So for example, you can enlarge any piece or shrink any piece, and you can even lock them so that they don't get edited any further. But I don't need to lock anything. So let's keep this guy up here, and maybe he'll be the one who's saying hello. And I think this text box is kind of large, so I'll shrink it again. And so we can do all these kinds of things. You can even move around this to show where the speech is coming from. And so we can do this here. And maybe we'll make this guy really huge, like he's in the front, like saying, what's going on? You can also flip his direction so that he looks the other way. Depending on the character, you'll see here there's emotions. So characters may be able to change their emotions, but I think a lot of the alien characters don't really have emotion options. But some of the other characters have different emotions. So let's just put a human in, for example. I know this child here has a lot of emotion options. And so you can change his emotions. And then for any of them, you can typically also change the posture. Some of them might have many options. Some of them might only have a few. So this guy looks like he has about 3 options. This guy looks like he also has only about 3. But I think this guy, the human character, seems to have about 10 or so. And so depending on the characters you choose, you might have more options for emotions and postures. And then you can also change colors. And for aliens, that's actually pretty fun. Humans, I don't know that you want to change colors too much, but it's up to you. But you can change colors for these aliens. Now, I'm going to delete this human character since he's not really part of my story. You just press delete. And the great thing about ToonDoo is that it's very easy to start with a single frame and just copy. Since each frame is typically going to look relatively similar, you can copy the characters, text, and background, and then you can edit. So now I can make my story progress. I'm in trouble. And if he was a human, I might give him a worried expression. So maybe since he's more important now for this text, I'm going to make his text bigger and make him bigger. And since his text is behind, but I can move it to the front, and I can reduce this guy's size since he's not quite the focal point of this. So I'll just go ahead and delete his text box for this. And you can also move the background around, and you can also enlarge and shrink it. So I'm going to go ahead and enlarge the background. So we're kind of zooming in. There we go. And so you can go ahead and then you can duplicate again. And then maybe there's something, I don't know, maybe something's going on with his duplication powers. And so now we can actually clone him and have like 5 of him appear. So that's a nice little tool that ToonDoo has. Other things, you can rotate them. It's nice to rotate things in space. And so there's a lot of different options here. Working with just the backgrounds, then there's props that I didn't even use in this case, putting in the text. But don't forget that the overall idea of ToonDoo is to share a story. And so make sure you have a good story that you want to tell. And what ToonDoo does is it allows you to create a visually appealing and fun looking story when you might not have the artistic capabilities on your own. So have fun.